Let's continue our quest for learning Hilchos Rosh Hashana. Haba aleinu l'toiva. So a lot of halachas. We're going to get to Danny's big shaila. Mitzvah Shem, we're going to get to that shaila in a moment. But Rabbi said we are so crazy halachas. The oilam has to know what to do on Rosh Hashana. I'll tell you why. First of all, it's halacha, so you need to know every halacha. And you have to know how to live like a yid, right? Rabbi Gamliel came over here and he said, live like a Jew. How do you live like a Jew? Open up a Shulchan Aruch and learn halacha. Avada, you have to learn Gemara, Avada, you have to learn Musa, Avada, you have to learn Chasidus. This Avada. But halacha is basics, aleph base. This is what the guys have to know. Baruch Hashem, over here we try to focus on it a little bit more than others, and maybe it's a little bit of a lesson to others that you should do the same thing. I'll come upon him. You have to know what to do on Rosh Hashanah also because you're being judged. Can you imagine being judged and you're doing the wrong thing at the time that you're being judged? Do you imagine? Right that moment you're being judged, you're doing the wrong halacha. Chabal! So if you know the halachas, you know what to do. Mamela, at that time, Be'ezah Hashem, Abba, Lena Tova, and Rosh Hashanah, when we're going to be judged, Yoyim Adin, well at least we're doing the right thing. Dave, are you with me? Thank you for writing it down. Gavaldi. The Torah brings down, let's begin with Erev Rosh Hashana. Let's go Keseda. Erev Rosh Hashana, and then we'll discuss the night of Rosh Hashana, and maybe tomorrow we'll get to the day of Rosh Hashana. There's a lot of halachas over here. So the Torah brings down, Tov Kuf Pei Aleph, the Torah brings down, Rabbi Sai, listen to this. Whew, we have over here mostly new guys listening right now. Some of the older guys might remember this, but I remember this when I said this last year. Guys were like, huh? Can't be. Making it up. Look it up yourself. The Torah in Tov Kuf Pei Aleph. Not my chumrah over here. It's brought down in the Torah. That the minig is to fast on Erev Rosh Hashana. You fast on Erev Rosh Hashana. It is only half a day until Chatzois. Or what we do generally is we wait till Mincha Gedolah, the first Zman of Mincha. We could say Anenu in Mincha, and then we daven Mincha, and then we break our fast afterwards. And we do not serve breakfast here, and I'll tell you why. The Torah brings down, Rabbi say, want shortcuts? Everyone likes shortcuts. Give me a shortcut. Give me a scholar and I can get all the way in. Torah says, ready for this scholar? This is Gavaldik. You ready? The Torah says, Yanka. The Torah says that when you fast on Erev Rosh Hashanah, you get an instant mechila for a third of your averis. Now, I don't know about you guys, but there are people out there that have a lot of averis. Mimela, these people need to do a bisl tshiva before Rosh Hashanah. Erev Rosh Hashanah is the last day of the year. You do tshuva on the last day of the year, it's ki'ilu you did tshuva every single day of the year. Moish, nakavaldik, you have a skula. You fast a half a day, boom, a third of your averis are gone. It's a good deal. Maskim? It's a good deal. People do that during the week also, till they eat lunch. So a third of your averis are gone if you fast on Erev Rosh Hashanah a half a day. Till Chatzois, or at least a little bit later, Dav Mincha, it's another half an hour, 45 minutes, Nishkav Halach, you can say Anenu, and that is good. Okay? Again, many people do not. Chai Adam says we're very weak in our generation. Okay, so if you know yourself that if you fast a half a day, your mom is not going to be able to daven that night, you're not going to be able to daven Rosh Hashanah, okay, maybe not. But I don't think that really would be the case. Like, come on, a half a day until Chatzois, 30 of your averis are gone. Are you with me? Yosef, you listening? Gavaldik. So like this, Rabbi say, that is the halacha of Erev Rosh Hashanah. We do not blow the shofar on Erev Rosh Hashanah. Why? Because we mix up the Satan. Maybe we'll speak about that at a different time. Let's move on to another halacha of Erev Rosh Hashanah, and that is as follows. Hataras Nedarim. The minig in most places in the world, most communities in the world, is to do Hataras Nedarim on Erev Rosh Hashanah. We are mater our Nedarim. We get up and we say that all the Nedarim that we ever made are bottle and mavutl, they don't last anything. Why do we do that on Erev Rosh Hashanah? The reason why we do that, Zuk the Rosh Yosef, Yafal Alev, is because we don't want a person to walk into the new year, right? That night, Rosh Hashanah by night, is the new year. It's the beginning of the year. We don't want a person to walk in with a brand new year with all of his chumras and all of his, nedarim that he made that perhaps maybe he didn't keep. And therefore, because of that, the Shlach Kodesh says it in Mesechtas Yuma, the Mateh Ephraim, the Derech HaChaim, the Sharet Shiva, Kaf HaChaim. We make Hataras Nedarim on Erev Rosh Hashanah. It's a very important thing. Some bring down that the Ovoin, the Aveira of Nedarim, is also Ma'akiv, a person's tefillahs before Rosh Hashanah. So before Rosh Hashanah, before we daven, Lifnei Kisei V'Kover, we want to make sure that all our Nedarim are gone and they have no shaykhs whatsoever. The Shachal HaTorah in Parshas Matos brings a remez for this. Vayichel Dvarik Kachol is the Rosh Tevis Elul. Some people, the Bat Ephraim brings down, do it again on right before Yom Kippur, and of course we do it by Kol Nidre. So if a person misses it, at least before Yom Kippur, he goes in to that over there. And a person has to realize as well that a neder doesn't mean he gets up and says, I am making a neder. If you do something 3 times, that's already a geder of a neder. That could be a neder. Mimela, that could be that you had a minig to do something 3 times, and if you do something 3 times, it's got a din of a neder. Mimela, for example, Motzah Shabbos, you decide, Motzah Shabbos, I'm going to the Kaisel. So you go down by the Kaisel Motzah Shabbos, week number 1, week number 2, week number 3. Could be, that's got a din of a chazaka. If it's got a din of a chazaka, it's got a din of an hanhaga toiva, which is basically a din of a neder. You miss it 1 week, you're over on your neder. You don't want to walk into Rosh Hashanah that way. That's the reason why we do our Torah's Nedarim before Rosh Hashanah, to make sure that we walk into Rosh Hashanah with a clean slate and make sure there's no chumas and all the things that maybe perhaps we should have been doing and we weren't doing and things like that. What we do generally is we split into groups of 4. I'm sure the Olim have done this before. Erev Rosh Hashanah after Shachris, we break into groups of 4. One person stands up and says the nusach that's in there and then by the slichos, or find it in the siddur, whatever, and the other 3 Rahini Dayanim Mumchim are there in front of you over there. It's kedai, by the way, to look at the English maybe before you do it, just so at least you understand what you're doing. But even if you don't understand every word, at least you understand what you are doing, is to bring matter every neder that you made and every anhaga tova that you did and will do as well. So that's a very important thing. But by the way, try to say things bli neder. When you say, I'm going to do this, try and say bli neder. Just try and be margul yourself to say, I'm going to go to the coast every Motzah Shabbos, bli neder. Right? Every Erev Shabbos, I'm going to say, nishmas, whatever it is, right? Bli neder. Always say bli neder. Start to be, habit yourself to say bli neder. It very much helps. Now, before we move on to the night, just one ha'ara. Everyone knows the famous Yerushalmi, okay? Everyone here knows the famous Yerushalmi, right? What's the famous Yerushalmi? Right? Avada. The famous Yerushalmi is what? Don't sleep on Rosh Hashanah. This everybody knows. Why? Because if you sleep on Rosh Hashanah, you never sleep here. Where does it come from? It comes from Yerushalmi, right? Which comes from it's a chazal, that when you do something in the beginning of the year, it affects the rest of the year, which we are going to discuss in a moment in more detail. But the Yerushalmi, according to many, bring down that the reason why you can't sleep on Rosh Hashanah, not by night, we're talking about by day, is because Rosh Hashanah is a zman of chayim. It's a zman of life. And as zman of life, you're trying to sleep. What do you do when you sleep? You're closing your eyes, you're mufkir from the world, they've got no shaykhs, don't have to do anything, everything's great. That's not life, that's not real life. That's not the time that a person should be spending his time sleeping, and therefore that's why, when we're so desperate to beg for our lives, is not the time that we should be sleeping. So of course at night, a person should sleep, because otherwise you're going to have no koyach. There are those that wake up before nates to make sure that they're not sleeping bechalal during the day. If you could do that and still have koyach, avada. Wake up by night, say some tehillim before davening, whatever it is that you could do. But avada, if you know that if you wake up by night, you're not going to have enough koyach, then you can keep sleeping until the zman of shachris. But to go to sleep during the day, that avada you shouldn't do. Enochanami after chatzos, the Arizal, second day Rosh Hashanah. There are many kulas, but we're not looking for kulas over here because it's Rosh Hashanah. It's a time that we're begging for our lives. We're not looking for kulas. But in order to continue this sugya, I want to mention like this. There's a Gemara. There's a Gemara in Hovius, right? Gemara in Hovius, we're doing it now in Daf Yomi, by the way. Yud Beis Omen Aleph, right? The end of the Masechta. The Gemara in Hovius asks the following kasha. Simonim milsa or lav milsa? Means like this. When I do something, does it affect future or does it not affect the future? That's the kasha. Meaning, Moish, at the beginning of the year, when I do something, does it affect what happens the rest of the year or not? It's a shail in the Gemara. Right, I'm not going to go through now the whole londish of the Gemara, whatever it is. Lemaisa, we paskin like Abaya, simone melsahi, which means a simon in the beginning of the year can indeed affect the rest of the year. Because of that, we do certain things on Rosh Hashanah as a simon for the rest of the year. One, for example, we spoke about a minute ago, was going to sleep. Another example, the Kaf HaChaim, for example, talks about is getting angry. Don't get angry on Rosh Hashanah. Now, the Yetzer Hara is going to chap you. He's going to find a mahalach how you're going to get angry. Someone's in your seat, someone took your machsa, whatever it is. And you're going to get annoyed, you're going to get upset. Don't do it. Because it's Rosh Hashanah. Simonim milsi, be paskin abai in the Gemara and Hurry stuff your base, which means that everything you do on Rosh Hashanah affects the year. So you don't want to be angry in the beginning of the year. That's number one. Number two, we spoke about this a little bit yesterday in Shir. that the Olam are asking, when exactly is the Mokum, and when is the Zman of judgment? When do you get judged? I don't know, but I can tell you what the Sforim HaKadoshim bring down, and that is that a person gets judged on Rosh Hashanah. We don't know when exactly that is, but if you want to think maybe when you know what it is, there's a certain time in Rosh Hashanah you get emotional. It could be during davening, it could be in the Sana Toikif, it could be in the middle of Birchas HaShacha, it could be in the middle of Oleinu L'Shabech, I don't know what. It could be in the middle of a Suda, you're in the middle of eating, and all of a sudden you feel a bit emotional, you cry, you don't cry, you want to cry, you feel like crying, whatever it is. They say at that moment, that exact split second, that's when you're being judged in Shomayim. Be careful what you're doing at that moment. You imagine you're upstairs and you're speaking Rosh Hashanah. I'm not the Olim here, I'm saying in different issue. I'm saying, imagine you're speaking Rosh Hashanah, the exact moment that they're judging you. Person doesn't want to do that. So I'll go upon him. If we paskin Simonim is a milsa, meaning we paskin that what you do in the beginning of the year affects the rest of the year, so now the shaila is all the things that we generally do on Rosh Hashanah have a tremendous significance because it makes a big nafkamina, which is why, for example, we eat what we call Simonim. Right? Most people have a minig in Klal Yisrael to eat Simonim after Hamoitzi. That's what generally what the poskim say to do is after hamoitzi, you wash, have kiddush obviously, you wash, you dip the bread in the honey, which the Mater Ephraim says is not a hefsek because it's l'tzorech achila. According to the Kaf HaChaim, the Kaf HaChaim says that you don't, you dip it into salt and honey. Chazon Ish, Rav Oz, the Tshuva, and Shevet HaLevi saying you only dip it in the honey, not the salt. Those are already different minhagim, right? So you dip the challah into the honey, again the simon of the sweetness of the honey, and that's kavaldik. Now comes the song, very important, right? It's like Seder night, you've got Manishtana, on Rosh Hashanah night, somebody gets up and sings, all of a sudden he's embarrassed. All of a sudden he's embarrassed. No, Rabbi said, dip the apple in the honey. Says, no, Rabbi said, America, anyone sings this anymore? It's out of fashion. Dave, yeah? You do, right? Yeah. Kabaldik. Oh, all of a sudden. Okay, very good. Baruch Hashem. So Kapanim, we sing that. Where does that come from? Very important. We dip the apple into the honey. Frek Dani Gavaldik Kasha. When you dip the apple in the honey, you're making a bracha on the apple. Right? You make a boirei peri ha'etz. Because the apple is not nichlal in the hamoitzi. Mamela, you have to make a bracha boirei peri ha'etz. Frek Dani Kasha. I don't understand. You learned this yesterday in the Mishnah Berurah. I don't understand. When you dip the apple in the honey, what's the ikar? The ikar is what? The honey. What shaykh is the apple? So why you make a bracha on the apple? The ikar is the honey. No, ask him. No, Rabbi Pinnik is asking to you. It's a gewaltige kasha. Ni Dave, what's the teretz? Nissi. Mocha?
Honey is with the challah.
Honey is with the challah, right? True. Yeah, but I don't make a bracha because I'm eating it with challah. When I eat it with challah, I don't make a bracha because I made the bracha on moitzi. But here Dan is asking, when I dip the apple in the honey, why am I making a bracha on the apple and not the honey if the honey is the ikar? It's a good kasha, no? It's a murder good kasha. So by the way, you should know, the Yad Ephraim Taka says that you should. You're mechavan to the Yad Ephraim. He says you should make a bracha shahakal on the honey because that's the ikar. Now most of the poskim have other nisht. Why? We don't use a banana and dip a banana. Maybe it doesn't work with the song. Could be it doesn't work with the song. Dip the banana in the honey. Doesn't really work, right? Or dip a carrot. It doesn't say dip a carrot in the honey. Why apple? Because apple is sweet. So Mamela, the ikar is the sweetness of the apple, and to make it extra sweet, then you dip it into the honey. Mamela, that's the reason over there. Now, by the way, there's a huge problem, and the huge problem is how are you making a bracha ha'etz on an apple? No, that's not your kasha. Your kasha is something else, which is great kasha, but not for now. Why are you making a bracha ha'etz first on the apple if you've got Shiva Simonim in front of you? What do we have? What's one of the Simonim that we eat on Rosh Hashanah? Come on, even in England they do this. Right? One of the Simonim, very good. Pomegranate, Shiva Simonim, Peiris Eretz Yisrael. What else do we have? Dates.
Olives.
What was that? Yankee was good. That's very good. So that's Danny's kasha. How do you make a bracha if you already washed? Big kasha, amazing kasha. Go on. Yankee Gavaldik. See? Yankila, Moyodik. Very good. When you make the hamoitzi, it covers the things that go together with the sida. Fleisch, fish, potatoes, kegel, all these things, right? Masha ein kain, when you're eating a date or other things, it doesn't really nichlal. Now it's a shaila, and some people say because it's a shaila and they make it as chelik of the sida, it could be you should take a piece of popcorn. That's vade, not nichlal. By the way, people, you have to know this, Rabbi say. At the end of the sida on Shabbos Kodesh, if they bring out popcorn, you have to make a bracha. But pri adom, it's not included in the hamoitzi. Some people take a piece of popcorn and they yotza the hadama in that case. But Akaponim, the kasha that we started with is, how are you making our eights on dip the apple in the honey if I've got pomegranates there and I've got dates there, but it's not shivas haminim? And we all are familiar, right? The Mishnah tells us in Masechtus Brachos, right? We're all familiar with the Shulchan Aruch. Shulchan Aruch says it very clearly, right? Kedima Sabrachos. Danny, right? The Shulchan Aruch in Simon Reishud Aleph. Kedima Sabrachos means you go with the kedima of what needs to be first, right? By the way, if you have an ice cream cone with ice cream in it, what bracha do you make first? What's that? Eating the ice cream first? But you're holding Mazonis. There is, very good. Which one goes first? Mazonis or Shahakal? Who's? Mazonis or Shahakal? Mazonis. So when you eat ice cream cone, tip it upside down and eat, right? Is that what you do?
You know, some people have a sandwich, right? They go and wash and they take both pieces of the sandwich instead of biting them.
So, the Maisa, Dave, you do this? You flip the cone upside down and eat the cone first because this Mazonis comes for Shagel? What's the answer? Well, Isaac, what do you say?
You can hold it like this. You don't have to flip it upside down.
I know, it's more fun if you just turn it upside down.
Yeah.
The answer is that the Mishnah Berurah over there, Sikot and Gimel and Reishud Aleph, that if you don't want to eat the other thing right now for a good reason, then you're okay. Zuk of Shlomo Zalman, it's in the Orah in the beginning of the Machzah Mefurish, by the way, Gvaldiga Machzah Mefurish, and he writes over there that he asked Rav Shlomo Zalman the kasha. Rav Shlomo Zalman says, no, I don't want to eat it now. I want the Seder is, now my kid gets up on a chair, just like Manishtana, my kid gets up, sing the apple and the honey. I want to eat the apple right now. I'm not ready right now for the pomegranate and the dates and everything else. But maybe if I don't want to have it right now, then I'm okay. For example, the end of a fast, right? You break your fast, right? You break your fast on, let's say, a piece of cake and a coffee, let's say, right? So which one comes first? How about that piece of cake comes first, right? But my mouth is very, very dry. I just fasted the whole day. I don't want to have a piece of cake right now. I want to have a coffee first, for a couple of sips of coffee, and then I can wet my throat, and then I can eat the cake. Are you allowed to do that? The answer is yes. If there's a cheshbon, then you're allowed to do that, right? But you say you have to know halacha. This is Rosh Hashana. You have to know halacha the whole year. Rabbi Gamliel told us, open up a Shulchan Aruch, learn halacha. This is what we're doing. So if you don't want to, because I don't want to eat the pomegranate, I don't want to eat the date, then I'm allowed. There are, by the way, those that say you should kind of put it away, but leave it in the kitchen, bring it out only after the apple. Of course, you could just bring the apple out afterwards, or make the bracha on the pomegranate and the date. You don't have to make the bracha on the apple. But if you very much want to do that, there is a marmok, and Rav Shlomo Zalman said for a person to do that. The emes is, Rabbi said, it's very, very late. We have to finish right now. But I want to discuss the Simonim in more length. I also want to discuss the inyan of not eating nuts on Rosh Hashana as well. And we're going to discuss the halachas of Rosh Hashana itself, the day of Rosh Hashana, Hilchos Tkiyah Shofar, and eating before Tkiyah Shofar, and preparing for one day to another day. Very common shalas that come up. Mitzvah Hashem, tomorrow we shall continue. Have a wonderful and amazing day. Try to believe. Say the Gamu.